Hey guys, it's Russell back, and on today's video we're going to be reviewing and testing out Adams car soap. If you've been following the reviews I did on all the Chemical Guys car soaps, you probably have gotten tired of me referring back to how much I like the Adams products. The Adams car soap that I'm referring to is not this. This is the new formula. What I'm referring to is the old red formula that smelled like cherries. That formula was discontinued maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. I still have some left, and that's what I use when I really want to do a really good wash. I love that soap. It's probably the best car soap I've ever used. Almost a close second is the Glossworks, which I kind of found and was introduced to when I started doing these reviews. But what we're going to do is, just like we've done in all our other Chemical Guys videos, we're going to be using the MTM Submachine gun style foam gun to test the foaming ability of the new Adams car soap. And then we're going to be using a bucket to test the foamage and how it performs in a hand wash. So, just like I've done in all my other videos, we're going to be using 10 ounces of water to 1 ounce of car soap. Now this car soap, a little bit about it, I don't know what they changed in the formula. Obvious reasons. They had a good reason for doing it. I don't know what, but they did change the color. It's now kind of a really deep blue, and it smells like berries. Neither of which matter to me. It's fine. The car soap that Adams sells, this is their only car soap, is a very premium, this would be considered a very premium car wash. It is pH balanced, and you could let this dry on your car. I don't recommend it, but if you were out in the sun and it started to dry, it's not going to hurt your paint whatsoever. Any really high-end pH balanced car soap is not going to hurt your paint if it dries on there. Obviously you don't want to wash it and come back 5 hours later. That's not the point, but a lot of times if you're in the sun, then the side that you're washing may dry some a little bit. Don't worry. Trust me, this shampoo is every bit of what they say it is. So let's go ahead and get the camera and everything set up outside, and we'll see what kind of performance Adams car shampoo can do in the MTM style submachine gun. Alright, so I've got my solution here. I've got 1 ounce of Adams car soap and 10 ounces of warm water. And we'll see what kind of foamage we get out of the MTM submachine gun style foamer. start doing this, the wind kicks up. Now, as in some of our other tests, the foam structure of the Adams is a very tight closed cell foam structure. There are a few median effervescent bubbles present, but overall it is a very, I would categorize this as a very dense, it's a very dense, thick foam. Now keep in mind, the type of foam gun you use, the hardness of your water, the type of pressure washer that you have is all going to determine in a large respect to the quality of the foam that you get, if it varies from what you're seeing here. And I've got some people that have asked, why do I wet the car first? Just have it. You don't have to, but if you've already got the car wet, the foam seems to last a little longer, because if I spray the foam on a dry car, part of the foam basically is soap, water, and some air mixed in. And if I spray a car with foam that's dry, part of the structure of the foam, which is water, is going to kind of, if you can think of dirt on your car as hills and valleys, it's going to kind of fill that in and suck some of the moisture itself out of the foam. So that's why I like to do, and plus straight water will knock off any dust. The foam will get any non-bonded contaminants, and that's the reason I do that. So if you want to foam the car dry, it's not going to hurt it, it's perfectly fine. So we're going to let this dwell probably for around 7 minutes, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like. All right, we're back. We're about at the 6.5 minute mark, and by the time we finish this shot, it'll be 7 minute mark. All right, so on the sun side, where we have most of the sun, the areas where the car is dirtiest, you're going to see that, well, it's pretty much gone. There are some areas on the windows that are still clean. Foam has got different properties on the different surfaces it touches. If you'll notice on the flat horizontal surfaces, the foam is very tenacious. It's got a good grip, as it is on the concrete. On the non or lighter sun side, I would say we're about 50% or so left. And again, on the top, we've got a pretty good clinging ability. So far, I would say this is maybe a, I don't know, middle of the road and a foam gun. All right, so let's see how this rinses, and if it rinses clear, and we'll be seeing if it took any of our sealant protection off. so after our rinse job, the question is, did it take off any of our wax or sealant protection? And I would say a resounding no. As we would expect from a higher end soap, all of the non-bonded contaminants appear to be removed. The soap rinses clean, and it actually, this is one of the few soaps that have a nice fresh scent, not only when you're applying it, but when you are rinsing it also. But as one would expect, and as we've seen before, it does not remove the actual bonded contaminants. Those will be removed during the hand wash. I'm going to say that this Adams formulation of soap in a foam gun is a high end of the middle of the road. I don't think it's fantastic. I think it's better than average in a foam gun. It does a lot of things well. It rinsed cleanly. It did everything that you would expect it to do in a foam gun. The only problem, I think, is the foam doesn't last quite as long if you were allowing it to dwell more. And again, on the side that we have the sun, if the car was in complete shade, it would have lasted a little longer. But as we saw on this side that did not have the direct sun, it lasted a little longer. So I'm going to get the bucket set up, and we're going to see how this wash performs in a hand wash. Alright, so I've got my bucket of warm water set up. I'm going to be taking 1 ounce of the Adams car soap and putting it in the bucket, and we're going to see how it performs. Okay. Now the first thing you'll notice is this is probably the most intense smelling car soap I've ever used, even more than the Adams Red. It has an extremely strong berry scent. I would only say it's close to almost a drink. It's extremely thick, so it must be very concentrated. So, being that this is so viscous and so concentrated, you are going to have to agitate it very well. You can't see, but what I just poured in is sitting on the bottom of the bucket. Sort of like, it kind of acts similar to the Chemical Guys citrus wash and gloss. Now just with hand agitation, it's producing some rather nice bubbles. It's a much larger foam structure than what comes out of a foam gun, obviously. But the one thing that I notice is as the large bubbles are dissipating, some of the medium bubbles just kind of sit there, that's a good thing. So let's get our pressure washer and agitate this and see how the slickness feels. Alright, kind of like the citrus washing gloss took, because this is so thick and it's sitting at the bottom, I had to give it a couple extra squirts. But the first thing that you notice is it produces a very, very dense, stable foam. Even the foam has that berry scent. So if you like berries, you'll probably like this shampoo. One thing that I'm not real thrilled about is, I would say there's only a mild slickness to the water. Not that real oily feel that you get, say, with the Wonder Wash, but it does have a mild slickness to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to do the hand wash now, and I'm going to use multiple wash mitts. And the reason that I do this, and I'm not using the 2-bucket method, as I've explained before, is that if I use a wash mitt one side then the other side, and then discard it to be laundered. No dirty mitt ever touches this pristine water again. The only way that you can completely clean one of these, okay, despite what the big rage is right now, which is a 2-bucket wash method with grit guards, you cannot get all of the grit out of this by rubbing it on that guard a few times and wringing it out in the rinse water. It's just impossible. Part of the good thing about these wash mitts is that they hold and trap dirt, and the only way that you can really release that is putting it in a laundry machine. And I've shown that before in other videos where the pristine water still got grit and dirt in it. So if you want to minimize the swirls, use the method that I'm showing you. It's a 1-bucket method. You're going to use multiples of these. I think I have 5 or 6 different wash mitts, which gives me 12 sides. I'm going to use 6, which is plenty to do the car. That way you will never ever get a dirty mitt inside this water to transfer it back onto the paint. Enough talking, let's get to washing. Alright guys, so there is the finished product. Unfortunately the sun is messing up my shot, but the car is super clean. Feels great. It's nice and shiny. As I said before, I think this is a really good shampoo, good car soap. I think it's probably high of the middle of the road. And I wouldn't say it's near as good as the old version, for sure, of the Adams, which is my favorite. I'm going to have to say that Glossworks is slightly better than this car soap. Just slightly. If you told me you'd give me a free bottle of either, I would take the Glossworks. Can't go wrong with either shampoo, but I think that the Glossworks does have a very slight edge over this shampoo. Anyway, the wind seems to be picking up, so if you guys enjoy these videos, if you enjoy the reviews on the car soaps, then continue to leave me some ideas about what you'd like to see, preferably car soaps that are available in the United States. And I will see you guys on the next video.